Imagine turning your own mother to stone by accident on the very night you finally get to use magic for the first time. That's not a curse someone puts on our hero. That's the mistake she makes herself. And it's the reason Witch Hat Atelier might be the most quietly devastating fantasy series you're not reading yet. This is Coco. She grew up believing magic was something you're born with, something reserved for witches by blood, completely out of reach for a normal girl like her. Then one night she secretly watches a traveling witch named Qifrey cast a spell, and she realizes something nobody around her seems to know. Magic isn't inherited, it's drawn. Anyone who can hold a pen and learn the right symbols can become a witch. So Coco tries it herself with a stolen brush and a bit of borrowed ink, and she turns her own home and her own mother to stone. That single mistake is the engine for the entire series. To undo it, Coco has to become a witch for real, which means apprenticing under the very witch whose magic she stole a glimpse of. Qifrey takes her in, half out of guilt, and half because he senses she's carrying a secret bigger than she understands. She joins his small atelier alongside 3 other apprentices. Agat, the prideful prodigy who resents that Coco seems to skip steps she herself worked years for. Tetia, the warm, scattered one who becomes Coco's first real friend. And Riche, sharp-tongued and quietly brilliant with mechanical spellwork. What makes the magic system genuinely special is how tactile it is. Spells aren't chanted, they're drawn, glyph by glyph, inside a ring, like calligraphy with consequences. One wrong stroke and a healing spell becomes a weapon. That single idea lets creator Kamome Shirahama turn every spell into a puzzle and every page into something you want to pause and just look at. This isn't hyperbole, by the way. The art in this manga is routinely called some of the best currently being published, full stop. But Witch Hat Atelier isn't just cozy magic school vibes, even though the first stretch absolutely earns that comparison to Studio Ghibli. Underneath it is a genuinely dark conflict. There's a rogue faction called the Brimmed Caps, witches who use forbidden magic, the kind that alters living bodies instead of objects. And they are hunting Coco specifically because the ink she was given as a child isn't ordinary ink at all. As the story moves through the girls' witch trials, a near-fatal dragon encounter in an underground labyrinth, and the brutal Serpentback Cave arc where Qifrey is critically injured, the series stops feeling like a fairy tale and starts feeling like it has real teeth. And the further in you go, the more the series' real question comes into focus. It's not really about whether Coco becomes a witch. It's about who gets to have magic at all and who decides that. One of the most acclaimed stretches in the whole series is the Silver Night Festival arc, where Coco works with a disabled boy named Tarta to build a spell that helps him do something his condition normally prevents. It turns a magic system into a lens on accessibility and control. And it's the moment a lot of readers point to as proof this series has something to actually say. Now, if you've come in through the anime instead of the manga, here's what you should know. Bug Film's adaptation, which started airing this spring, is a genuinely faithful translation of the source material. And it looks stunning in motion, especially the moment-to-moment spellcasting. But the first season only gets you through the Dragon Labyrinth trial and into the opening of the Serpentback Cave arc, which means it ends on a cliffhanger, with Qifrey badly hurt and Coco's future still completely up in the air. The manga, meanwhile, is already 16 volumes deep and still going. And honestly, Some of the story's best material, including that Silver Knight arc, hasn't been animated yet. So here's the real recommendation. If you love the anime's first season, do not wait for season 2 to find out what happens next. The manga is not just further along. In a lot of ways, it's the fuller, richer version of this world, with room to breathe that a 12-episode season just doesn't have. Witch Hat Atelier earns its comparisons to the genre's best, not because it copies them, but because it actually understands what made them work. Wonder, paired with real stakes, paired with characters who feel like they're growing up in front of you. If you want a fantasy series that trusts you to sit with its ideas instead of just its action, this is one of the best currently running.